Hey guys, welcome back to the Independent Investor Channel. My name is Ryan, coming to you from New York City. New York, this is going to be the top 5 picks that I'm actually buying or have actually already taken positions in the month of November. What I'm going to do on this particular episode is I'm going to take you into my research forum, and I'm actually going to scan over the reports with you guys, and I'm going to highlight sections within that report that kind of show you guys what I'm looking at with regard to the stock positions that I've taken as we approach the month of December. Now, keep in mind, guys, that these are opinions from me. These are stock recommendations, and they are for entertainment purposes only. I highly encourage you guys to do your own research when you're looking to invest in the stock market, as the stock market does carry with it some risk of appreciation and risk of loss. All right. Now, my disclaimers are at the bottom of every one of my videos, but I just highly encourage you guys to take a look, do your own research on these particular stock picks. I come from a little bit of a unique perspective in that this channel really offers a testimonial on what I do month in and month out with regard to my stock picks. So it's really not that difficult, but keep in mind these pieces of these investments that I'm taking are part of an overall portfolio picture. And I expect that you guys are fitting your stock picks into your individual portfolios as appropriate. So I'm going to kick you over to the independent research forum for you guys and start reviewing these stock reports on my top 5 stock picks that I'm buying for December. Yeah, so this is a much better way of doing this. I can actually kind of show you guys the reports, not to be redundant or just vocally talk through the stocks that I'm looking at. I'm actually looking to increase my sector exposure to the energy sector, and I've actually already done this. I believe I took a 50 share position in Total Energy this month. It supplements my already existing holding. You guys know I'm long-term holders of Chevron, and then Exxon is the other major, and Royal Dutch Shell. Total's right up there. It's one of the largest oil producers in the world. These guys are based out of Paris, France. They pay a very healthy dividend. Their forward price to earnings is actually very attractive at 11.7 times forward earnings. It's got a market cap of 141 billion. So you guys kind of understand how I approach this in offering some stock picks to you guys. I'm always looking at the best of breed. And these are some of the top 4 that I just mentioned in the industry. So if you're kind of looking for some oil exposure going forward, you could really look no further. Now, the tax withholding may apply. That's worth noting. For any dividends, it's going to be subject to the exchange rate and the tax from Europe. I don't not invest in a stock because of little details like that. I don't tend to worry about that. Not a reason not to own the stock. We're looking at a dozen new projects coming online here over the last 2 years. That's attractive enough. And then finally here, the liquefied natural gas portfolio is actually better, comparatively speaking, than its peers within the industry. So this is the first stock pick, Total Energy. And so we're going to move on to the next one. So here's just another offering from the energy sector, and this is just a really cool way to play energy. If you own, the major oil producers, and I do have a lot of favorite oil stocks, but recommending it to you guys, really, you shouldn't be looking really a whole lot further than your majors, Exxon, Chevron, Royal Dutch Shell, and Total Energy. Those are the ones that I would be looking at primarily. Now, you could take smaller positions in these stocks to equal 9% of the total overall allocation, but pay particular attention here. The first stock here is going to be Halliburton, and this is one that I've recommended before. There's really 2 oil service providers that I recommend, and they're the best in breed. There's really no reason to talk beyond the top 2. And Halliburton is one of those. The next one I'm going to talk about is the number 1 service in the driller or service industry for the energy. Halliburton was founded in 1990. It's based in Houston, Texas. It's got exposure to over 70 countries. These guys have rising income. And Halliburton really is just a best-in-breed company. I've actually purchased, I think I picked up 65 shares of these guys here in November, and it's really just kind of a supplementary play on the rising cost of oil or rising price of oil. And it tends to supplement the major producers going forward. So Halliburton is one of my stock picks here, so hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm going to leave these reports within the channel description, and you guys can look at these in more detail, okay? So if you want to own the best of breed, here's another option. I just talked about Halliburton, and Schlumberger is actually the number one oil service provider, services and drillers in this subsector to oil. So just kind of think about this when you're formulating your portfolios and you're looking at 9% exposure in the sector, in the energy sector. You know, look at Schlumberger. Now, the difference between this and one of the majors right now is these guys have kind of lagged behind a little bit. So from a contrarian play here, I mean, I kind of look at these here. It's found support at $60. And as the oil price continues to improve over time, we're looking at the service providers actually benefiting from that move up in oil. And if you just want to go ahead and own both of the top 1 and 2 oil service providers within the industry, Schlumberger is definitely an option to look at for you guys. So I had to break a couple of my fundamental rules to pick up this stock. This stock is actually featured in my nice list because I did actually end up buying this. I bought this on the long. I'm really tired of seeing this thing go up and basically ignoring how big PayPal is in the technology sector. Now, you guys might be kind of confused by this. It's easy to lump PayPal, Visa, MasterCard all in the discretionary section, but they all own their own proprietary platforms, basically. And my friend Nate O'Brien did a really, really good coverage. He actually beat me to the punch on this. I actually did take a position in this, and I think he alluded to really taking a hard look at PayPal. It's worth owning. There's no doubt about it. And I'm going to actually take a long position in PayPal for the continuing years. And what my plan is with PayPal is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attempt to buy the dips if I get an opportunity to buy the stock, guys. But I mean, if you were looking at this from a technical standpoint, this chart is enough to chase anybody off. Not really with PayPal. There's one key metric in here that I looked at. It's really amazing. It's 1 out of every $6 that's processed is processed through PayPal. And again, Nate talks a lot about the Venmo. I'm not really that familiar with Venmo. I'm going to be trying to get a little more familiar with it. Evidently, it was an app that that PayPal owns, that he was able to speak pretty favorably on. And a lot of reason why these guys are growing is because of their Venmo asset. And he's got a really good technical piece on it. So I highly encourage you guys to kick over to his channel and see his review of PayPal. But just a name in the technology sector, you could really afford to pick up, one of the safer plays in the technology sector, ones that I recommend all the time. You could go super, super safe with Microsoft, Cisco. You could go, somewhat a little more aggressive with Apple and Google, and then a little more aggressive with your names like Facebook and PayPal. I kind of put into that a little bit more aggressive growth category. But these guys have got the numbers to back it up. They really do. $77 billion a market cap, 34 times price to earnings, and for a growth company of this magnitude, is really actually not that bad. So I picked up 50 shares. I'm going to monitor PayPal going forward, but it's certainly not one of those that I hesitate to recommend to you guys. In more of the aggressive category. Just don't get overzealous with these, because these guys can correct in a hurry. And you got to be disciplined for the long term if you're going to own a name like PayPal. So I'm covering Comcast for you guys. This is a stock that I've actually never owned before. This is actually currently my largest position, a position that I entered into, I guess, about a week ago. No more the sector weight than 3% in telecom. I'm actually breaking that rule right now. I really think the telecom sector as a whole has been absolutely annihilated for some legitimate reasons, but as a lot of things in the market that you'll notice, not everything is 100% justified. And I think these guys are kind of starting to stabilize, and the assets that they've got here are really starting to kind of come to a head here. Xfinity, we've got stabilization in their subscriber subscriber loss, basically has started to stabilize. These guys make killer money. We're talking about a $173 billion company. They do pay a small dividend of close to 2% here. It's meeting resistance right here in the stock chart of around $36. So nowhere near its 52-week high of up around $42 a share. And we're talking about getting exposure. These guys make killer free cash flow. They are very well managed, very well run, and some of the assets that these guys own are the Universal Parks. They own my favorite television show, which is CNBC, of course, and NBC Universal, which they acquired a couple years back, I believe, or last year. But these guys are the #1 cable provider in the world. And if this stock trade doesn't shape up here in the short term, I will just get long this stock. I will disclose to you guys that I'm actually looking to take a shorter position in this stock. And if the stock trade does work out, then I'm going to shift some of those assets into a smaller position within the Roth IRA accounts in Comcast, and then hold those shares indefinitely on the long, because I think this company really is kind of hitting its bottom here, and it's got some really, really good prospects going forward as the telecom sector starts to become a little bit more in favor, which right now it's actually out of favor, probably coming into favor. All right, so that kind of sums it up, guys. That's Comcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, I'm going to leave these reports on the channel page in the description. You guys can review it at your leisure. Thanks a lot. So here's the bonus pick for December. I always offer you guys a bonus pick. Top 6 stock picks for the month really isn't quite as catchy, so I'm doing top 5 with a bonus pick. This is actually another stock that I've been kind of in and out of this entire year. It's the only REIT that I'm recommending, and it's the only REIT that I've recommended frequently on the Independent Investor channel. This is a really interesting way to play the financial services sector, and if you guys didn't want to, play it the traditional way of, entering into a financial institution like a bank or something like that, you could play it in this particular way. And this company is really, really unique in nature. These guys actually provide the cell phone tower sites, which the telecom industry as a whole basically rents the space from these guys, or i.e. the real estate, basically, and specifically the tower sites. This is just a really, really interesting stock. The upside potential is enormous with American Tower. It's pays a lot of its money. It does pay a nice little dividend for shareholders. We're talking about a market cap of around $65 billion, so huge company. And just a really good bonus pick that I thought I'd throw out there for you guys. And just as kind of a homework, guys, on your own time at your leisure, I would go through this report, as I'm going to try to include these on the description page of the website. So hopefully you kind of enjoyed the bonus pick for the month of December. As with all the picks, I hope you guys enjoyed and can get some benefit and enjoyment out of knowing what positions I'm taking for the month of December. So thanks a lot, guys. So we've just come back out of the reports section within the platform. I'm actually going to try to leave these research documents in the bottom of this particular video, but I think this really kind of helps walk you through the information. You're not going to catch it all on the first video, so if you need the reports for reference, go in and look at the information for yourself. But I really hope you would like this approach to going through stock and highlighting certain things on the report that I'm actually looking at. yet in looking at taking an actual position in the stock. So I hope you guys appreciate that. Thank you so much for tuning in on this particular edition of my top 5 stocks I'm buying for December. If this is your first time tuning into the channel, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. You guys will be notified of any future videos that I put on YouTube. Leave your comments in the bottom section for stock picks that you guys are looking at for my viewing audience to look at, and that can be some really helpful information. I'd like to know what stocks you guys are looking at for coming into the month of December and year ending 2017 as we approach the new year. If you guys have ideas for the channel, please leave those ideas in the comment section, or you can reply to me directly at ryan.independentinvestor@gmail.com. I do respond. Give me 1 business day to respond to those emails. I check it periodically. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this particular video on my top 5 picks for December. Guys, and good luck in your investment future.